Hey everyone, it's me Catherine and long time no see. Again. Again. Well today, I'm gonna excuse the terrible lighting and I guess like the state of me because it is currently, it's 1:10 in the morning. And I thought it would be a good idea to film a video. Basically, I'm in the process of getting my shit together and I was going through my notebook. I remembered I got some notes on Shadow and Bone, the Netflix series. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah. I watched it when it came out, took notes intending to make a video on it. It's been too long now since I've watched the show to actually do a proper review. So we're just gonna have a flick through. We'll talk about it, maybe. I don't know. This might never see the light of day. But I am trying to catch up on all the videos I fully intended to have done this year. Because I did have intentions, so many intentions. So, oh god. My drink of choice this evening is Hobgoblin Ruby beer. It's supposed to have this distinct ruby beer's sweet caramel and fruity aromas tease the taste buds. It tastes like shit, but I was taken in by the hint of caramel and fruity aroma. It's a lie. It tastes like every other beer I've ever had, and it's vile. But I've opened it, and I'm not gonna waste it. Cheers. But I do have some caramel Snacker Jacks to help chase the taste away. They are actually caramelly, so sometimes I wonder about the choices I make. Sometimes I wonder. Anyway, let's go through Shadow and Bone. Like, better late than never, innit? Better late than never. So, looks like I've got it split into initial thoughts and then notes I actually took during a rewatch. Let's have a look at what past me thought about the Shadow and Bone. I remember enjoying it. I do remember enjoying it. I remember being pleasantly surprised because I went in with like the lowest of the low expectations. Thought it was gonna be shit and it actually wasn't. Okay, so past me did enjoy it. This was so fucking, I loved it so much. Seeing all my murdered children and everyone. Still don't fancy Ben Barnes. Yeah, I guess confession. Ben Barnes, while yeah, he's attractive, I won't say he's not attractive, just doesn't do it for me. Just doesn't do it for me. So I was probably one of the very few that wasn't happy about him being cast as the Darkling, but as past me notes, still don't fancy Ben Barnes, but he's not a bad Darkling. Okay, what the fuck did they do with the antlers? Yes. The collar, I guess if you, the collar, it was supposed to be a collar, right? And they just melded it, like they made it her collarbone. That's fucking gross. I hate it here. Past me had it right. I hate it here. Oh god, yeah, they really getting a look at the Darkling's past art. Interesting to see how the fold was made. Not sure how I feel about them trying to make me feel sad for the Darkling though. Love the man, but no, yes, this is a problem I had. And I'm wondering if I made any more notes on this for the rewatch. So I guess I will wait to talk about that a little bit later to see if I mention that, because that is something I do remember and not being completely happy with about the Darkling. Zoya. I love Zoya. Zoya is actually genuinely one of my favourite characters. I did kind of pictured her as tall, but never mind. I guess, you know, you can't get, but I don't know, I just imagined her being tall rather than short. But no, she was fine though. She's really just gonna go back into the fold on her own. All right then, yeah, that was a thing they did, didn't it? They had her just going back into the fold on her own, like a badass. An idiot, but a badass. Like, how is she gonna survive that? Oh, okay, and I thought I hate it, but I kind of like, yeah, I wasn't sure about how the crows were gonna fit into this. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about that whole section of the crows. But I kind of liked it. I do still have to ask why. Yeah, like I love my murder babies and it was great seeing them, but I gotta ask what the point was. Cute goat though. Was it literally just to introduce them, just to have them there? Because I'm not sure what it added to the whole thing, you know, like not sure what it added. I enjoyed it, like I love seeing my murder babies and I think they were great. They did really good, you know, the Don't expect me to remember anybody's names. I know Ben Barnes because my sister loves my sister loves Ben Barnes. That's why I know his name, but don't ask me to remember anybody else's because I haven't got a clue. But I think they were cast really well. Like, I'm really happy with the casting choices. What I did like though is that we are seeing Nina and Matthias' story though. Like, I like that. But again, why now? You know? I bet there's like explanations out on the net somewhere, but someone's been like, yeah, they've decided to put it together because of this reason. And maybe I originally knew. Maybe I knew once upon a time, you know, maybe I knew. But not at 1:20 Halloween morning. Right, so that's all I have for my initial thoughts, and then we go into the rewatch. Can't wait for these, because when I watch something and make notes as I'm watching things, guaranteed there's going to be shit in here I have no idea what I'm talking about. There's going to be things with here like for like no context, because the idea was to do this as soon as I'd done this. As soon as I made these notes, the idea was to make this video, so it was all fresh in my memory, and now it's not. And now I think it's a good idea to do this. So, okay. I wonder what the idea was behind changing how Mal and Alina ended up on the skiff. I don't know what to think about it, because it means Alina is kinda indirectly at, oh yes! Kinda indirectly at fault for the Volcra attack, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. Yes! Because in the book, she was just on that skiff. She was just supposed to be on the skiff, and that was that, right? There was no question about them being on the skiff. It was nobody's fault that they were on the skiff. But this time, because they made it, Alina like burnt that map so that they had no choice but to be on the skiff, and the whole writing crew. So in this world, if Alina hadn't been on the skiff, if she hadn't burnt that map, the writing crew, the map makers wouldn't have had to be on the skiff. And so whatever his face is wouldn't have dropped that lantern. Wouldn't have dropped the lantern. Like, who let that kid on with the lantern and a lighter? But seriously though, who let this inexperienced skiff kid on that thing when you're not supposed to light lanterns with a lantern and a lighter? Who left him with that? Who gave him that? I feel like that was neglect. I feel like that could have been avoided. But yeah, having that whole thing sort of made it Alina's fault, and I don't know how I feel about that, because it just, I feel like there didn't need to be a reason. No one would have questioned it. They're on the skiff. But, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? It's what it is. Whoa, I missed it the first time around melding. Oh, that's right. The first time around, I was so shocked with the whole collar thing. But then on a second time, I guess I just blanked the bit in the library with the creepy, you know, the creepy monk guy. The creepy monk guy. I guess I just blanked it because it was actually there, where they talked about it, them melding the bone into their bodies. Who thought that was a good idea? Because that's fucking gross. I could really do without that. Thanks. I still can't believe they go through the fold in that noisy contraption. I'm going to assume this is about the train. Because, oh boy, the train. And also, yeah, how did Alexei make it? I'm all over the place. My notes are all over the place. I'm all over the place. But how did Alexei make it? Because they weren't that far into the fold. And yet he ran all the way to the other side and lived. All right, mate, all right. Girl's gotta eat to keep her strength up, dickhead. I wanna say this is Nina and Matthias. Girl's gotta eat. Why? Why did I make these notes? How is that useful to anybody? Who is this useful for, Catherine? Who is this useful for? Because it isn't me. Ah, yeah, no, here we go. My writing's also gradually getting worse, so this is going to be interesting. Alexander. Interesting that they throw his name out here like it's nothing. I remember this annoying me. How they just throw his name out. Do I mention that anywhere else? Yeah. Because that happens quite a couple of times. Like, they just throw his name out like it's absolutely nothing. And like, if you haven't read the books, you know, it would seem like absolutely nothing, but then, you know, I have read the books, and to me it's not nothing. It's not nothing, but I guess we'll get to that. I Should Go, fucking hell, Catherine. I Should Go has been forever ruined by the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC. It really has though, on a side note. Like, I can't hear anybody say I should go without going, I should go? Maybe it's I should go. I should go? Which, if you haven't played the any Mass Effect, and you haven't played the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about, because Shepard says I should go quite a bit. And in the Mass Effect 3 DLC, the Citadel DLC, they sort of like pick fun at that. And so I can't hear I should go now without immediately thinking of that. And I put it in these notes for the Shadow and Bone series for, I don't know why. I don't know why. The gloves are ugly as fuck. Yes. Oh my god, yes. Those gloves he made are like, what the I mean, I'm sure they were marvellous, but like, who designed them? Who thought that was a good design for some gloves for like a fancy event? Because they were ugly. Like, I would not have worn them either. But that aside, she doesn't turn them down in the book. She does use them in the book, from what I recall. So why does she turn them down here? And yes, also her actual summoning, weird. Always pictured it as more light than actual suns, because like in this, it's sort of like she's like twirling suns around her. And like, I expected beams rather than balls. Yes, Catherine eloquently put. I did expect more beams of light rather than actual little balls, sun balls. You know? Oh yeah! How could I forget they made Marie look like Alina, even though that should be beyond Jenya's ability. At least for her to do it so quickly and so convincingly. I guess Jenya is a gifted tailor. No, because it takes her time to do the thing. It's not like a magic thing. It made it seem like a magic thing. Because when Jenya's undoing, I guess spoilers for Cookie Kingdom, when Jenya's undoing Wayland's, is it Wayland, is that his name? Yeah, Wayland's face to make him look like him again. It takes a bit of time because she's like basically moulding his face. It's not just a whew, and you're good. It's like moulding, you know? It's like, I think, I don't know, like moulding. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, I have more about the Darkling here. But you know what? It's not a bad Darkling, but it's not a Darkling for me. I feel like how I'm seeing him now is how others see him in the books. I don't know. Right, yeah. Because obviously there's like a bit of a divide between like people, the Darkling, like people liking him and people not liking him. And I make it very clear. I think I've said this before. I even had a video on antagonists. I actually quite like. Look into that however you will. But I like the Darkling as a monster. I like him as this man who has lived too long and has become so gnarled and twisted and bitter and beyond saving. And I love that. I love him for that. I like having a glimpse into his past, like many years ago. Like we have that little story in one of the books. Well, at least the end of the versions I've got, there's like a little past, a look at the Darkling's past when he was a kid, like when he was very, like actually, I think he was actually a child, and we sort of see a bit of him there. I liked that. I don't like this, because in this, what have I put? I guess it took me a while to work it out. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm not a fan of this Darkling, and that makes me sad. But it happens. It does happen. Like, it makes me sad, but because he's one of my favourites. I fucking love the Darkling. Like, come at me in the comments if you want for that, but I fucking love him. And I want to make it very clear, yes, no, it's me. This is actually useful information. This is actually useful notes, Catherine. I don't think it's Ben Barnes' fault. I think it's how he's been written. I think he's written differently. I think Ben does an excellent job of making him seem creepy, if that was the intention, because that's how he came off to me. I think, yeah, because that's how he came off to me. Like, he seemed, maybe in the books, like maybe people reading the books saw the dark. I'm not going to use that to. Oh, crumbs in the back of the throat. Like maybe, because he came off creepy to me. He came off creepy, and I didn't like that because to me in the books he wasn't creepy, you know? I don't know, I genuinely, without rewatching it, I don't think I could put like, and rereading again, I don't know if I could put my finger on what exactly it is. But I guess maybe how I feel about this Darkling is how people felt about the Darkling in the books. You know, the people who don't like the Darkling in the book, that's how they felt, whereas I don't know, that's not how I feel about him. Maybe they wanted him to seem more human. Here we go. Maybe they wanted him to seem more human. I don't want him more human. I want a monster. Maybe that's what it is. And I just mentioned that, like, I think I want a monster. But they're trying to make him seem more human because we get a look into his past and I'm like, I don't give two shits about this, to be perfectly honest. I don't want to feel sorry for him. I don't want to feel sorry for him. I don't want to feel pity for him and whatever anger he might have felt creating the folder. I don't want that. I don't fucking want that. I don't mind looking at his far past before he'd lived too long, you know what I mean? Like as a kid, I don't mind seeing whatever fucking trauma you want with that, or the shit he's been through, because the fold, from what I understood from the books, was a power move. He wanted power. It wasn't about grief or whatever the fuck they were trying to make it seem like. Maybe people want him to seem more human, you know, maybe that's what people want from him, maybe that's what people thought was missing, but I don't want that. Give me that 500 odd, is he 500 odd years old? Old, twisted, gnarled, bitter, power hungry, mad Darkling. Give me that, because that's what I want, that's what I need. It's what I live for, you know? Oh my god, David's so cute with the hand up. What are these notes? Why am I like this? Literally, why am I like this? Here we go, again with his name. I hate it, can't believe they just keep throwing it around like it's nothing. Like this, he took a false surname, why not give him a false first name too? Because here's the thing, no one knows the Darkling's name. No one knows it. It's special, it's something he's kept close to his heart because he's not that person, you know what I mean? He is the Darkling, he's become the Darkling, and the fact that they throw this name around like he's actually a human being with real feelings. Nah, mate, nah. I guess it all comes back to the fact that I want my Darkling to be an absolute monster. I don't want him to be this creepy human man. I don't know, that feels feelings, that has like real grief, and I don't know, give me power mad, twisted, gnarled, bitter. How many times am I gonna need to say this? Give me that man, because that Darkling was not it. Because the thing with the kiss in the book is the Darkling uses it as a tactic. He uses it to stop Alina's line of questioning in the book. He uses it to manipulate her because he knows that he is attractive. He knows that he is, I guess he's charismatic, you know, he's got a presence, and he uses that against her. And while yes, that's creepy, manipulation, creepy, whatever, it doesn't feel that way. Because we see it from Alina's perspective and she's attracted to the Darkling, and we don't really see it, or at least we're not meant to initially see it as that. But in this, Alina kisses him, and I don't like that. They make it seem like a real thing. Yes, Catherine, a real thing as opposed to a fake thing. A fake thing. I guess it's hard to explain without doing like an actual like side-by-side comparison, like saying this is what happens in the book, this is what happens, this is what, you know, the parallel in the series is, compare them, what's different, discuss. I am not gifted with words. I am not gifted with words. No good, Catherine, good. My brain is broken. Oh no! Our table! It's broken! He said he'd have Mal healed, not that he'd let him go. Oh yeah, that's one of my favourite things, wording. When people try and make deals and they don't think about how it's been worded. Like with the whole Alexei thing, it was like, if I tell you, will you let me go? And it's like, yeah, I'll let you go. Didn't say how they'd let him go though, did they? Because, you know, death is a way of letting somebody go from life, you know. And here when they're got the deer and whatnot and Elena's trying to bargain or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I'll have Mal healed. And then she's like, oh, you said you'd let him go or whatever. I imagine that's what she said. I didn't make notes on that bit and I don't recall, but I'm going to imagine that's what happened. And I'm saying, well, no, what he said, what he actually said was, I'll have him healed, not that I'd let him go. He avoided the question, why did she take his hand? What? He avoided the question, why did she take his hand? I'm not sure what that's referring to. Good job, me. I hate how amplifiers work in this. I hate it. Oh, that's fucking right. Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot. They had like, it made it like a, they had like a piece of the thing in each, didn't they? And that's how the connection worked. I forgot about that. That was weird. I feel like that was weird. I guess maybe they didn't like how it was originally. Like maybe, I mean, originally it was just that the Darkling was the one to kill the deer. And that's why he had the power. But they had to do the weird thing with the things in the hands. And that's how he did it. But I don't know what I mean by he avoided the question, why did she take his hand? The Darkling avoided the question? Oh, is Elena still somehow convinced a little bit that the Darkling's not going to kill Mal? Is that what happened? Again, why? Because in the thing they took Mal onto the skiff. In the book they took Mal onto the skiff because he was gonna use him. Like he was gonna throw him in, that's how he was gonna kill him, and he was gonna let Elena watch. But in this, Mal escaped and stowed away on the skiff. Introducing Zoya's family connection was nice for future stuff. Yes, because I feel like that didn't happen in the book. I don't think that happened. Did it? Yeah, because in the book Zoya wasn't on that skiff. Zoya wasn't on that skiff. It was just the Darkling. A couple of his main man won it. Was it? Can't even remember, his right hand man or whatever. The main man, he used his Heartrender, and then the important people. Whereas in this, it was like a big to-do. They had a lot of Grisha. Zoya was there, but she wasn't before. So in this, she's there giving us a little family connection, which makes what's about to happen like a little more tragic for her, because she doesn't find out till later what went down and why it went down. This fight is ridiculous though. Really, the Darkling fighting Mal? He really wouldn't bother at this stage. Also, pretty sure Barbara told Alina what the Darkling was planning. Why is she surprised he isn't destroying the fold? Oh my god, that's it. At this point, she still believes that the Darkling is trying to destroy the fold. And it just baffles me. The whole end baffled me. Let's see what else I've got before I go into this. Prefer his book speech. Yes, that was lacking. I love his speech in the book. I have referenced that in the same video when I was talking about antagonists I love. Whereas like there's no more Fjerda, no more whatever, no more borders, and there will be no more wars. Oh my god, I've got to have this quote written down somewhere. I do genuinely really like it. Because it sort of shows his thinking, you know, it shows what's going on up there in his head, like how he's viewing what he's doing. There are no Ravkans, no Fjerdans, no Kirch, no Shuhan. There are no more borders, and there will be no more wars. From now on, there is only the land inside the fold and the outside of it, and there will be peace. He says, after expanding the fold over a village full of innocent people. You know, but I really liked that. I liked that because that was sort of a look into who the Darkling is, what he was after, what his goal was, and however twisted away he wanted to get that. So I really like that speech. But yes, I just don't understand why you would bother fighting Mal in hand to hand. Yeah, the whole scene, I guess maybe they wanted to make it a bit more epic, but why would the Darkling even bother fighting Mal in hand to hand? I mean, couldn't the Darkling not use his powers in the Fold? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Because maybe that's why you didn't power him. I feel like the Darkling's got it's a bit of a right, maybe a bit of hand to hand. But literally, why would he bother? I would just like kick him, like just throw him off the skiff. Because I guess what's annoyed me is the fight shouldn't have even been a thing, right? It shouldn't have even, but I guess because they had so many people that had to get out at this point. But yeah, like, I guess it was a necessity because we needed to get Kaz, Inej and Jesper back over to the other side of the Fold. So I guess it was necessary to make it like a bigger thing, have a nicer, bigger, grander skiff. Because the skiffs, I don't remember them being, I didn't imagine them being so grand in the book. They were just sort of like luxury rafts. I was sort of imagining them as like, you know, like just like a better version of a raft. I wasn't imagining them as anything quite so grand as massive ships sailing through the sand, but I guess. I don't actually know what a skiff is. Is this a skiff? Let's Google skiff, shall we? Yeah, a skiff is a little like unrelated style of small boats. Helpful Google. Except they've got sails on so they can blow them through. So like, why? But I guess the why is because they needed to get more people over. It wasn't just Alina and Mal this time. It was Alina, Mal, Zoya, Inej, Jesper, Kaz. They needed to get across. I still can't believe Zoya went back in though. Like, this Fold is this thing that people are so afraid to cross. And not only did Alexei make it, fuck knows how, but Zoya goes back in by herself. I guess the Darkling not being able to use his powers makes sense, because maybe his using his powers would draw the Volcra to him like calls to like, you know, that whole shebang. But the fight with Mal, I just feel like, why would you even bother? Why would he even bother? Just like break his leg and leave him. You know, did he have a gun on him? I can't even remember if there was a weapon involved. I genuinely can't remember. But I feel like the Darkling was powerful enough to just like, you know, snap an arm, snap a leg, leave him in the sand. Bob's your uncle. And all that. But like, overall, I did like it. It was not perfect, not by a long shot, but as far as like book adaptations go, I was actually genuinely very excited about it, and how much I enjoyed it, like genuinely. I think the only other book adaptation I've enjoyed quite as much, and in fact probably more, was Good Omens, and I watched that before I read the book, so I had no expectations for how it was going to be compared to the book. And after reading the book, I did prefer the series to the book Good Omens. Blasphemous, I know. But this, no, I was genuinely like, went in low expectations, was not expecting much from it, and I was pleasantly surprised, even with the Darkling not being my Darkling. But you know, it happens. You can't get everything right. Not that you can't get everything right, that's not right. You can't please everybody. I feel like the name thing though, that was something they definitely could have just not done, because his name's special. His name is special, and now it's not, and that's ruined. So dramatic, it's ruined it. It's ruined the whole thing. It's ruined it for me. So overall, liked it. Had some problems. Still not sure why the crows were there. I mean, I love my murder babies, my murder children. Nina Matthias, love them. Painful to watch because knowing what's coming, but love it. I just don't know why. You know, I don't know why. The name thing, don't know why. The amplifiers, why merge them? Why meld them to your bone? That sounds horrible. Like, how are they gonna get it out of her? because it snaps, right? I get spoilers. So many fucking spoilers. Not even that many. But it snaps, right? Spoilers for Ruin and Rising. Like once it's done, it just breaks off, right? It can't just snap off. Does it just unmeld itself? Is it just going to unmeld itself once it's done? Or is she going to have to live with that? Because I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Also, hugging is going to be hard. Anyway, that's gonna about do it. That's gonna about do it. So that's gonna be it from me today. Thanks everybody for watching. If you watched, I know this is late and like it's old news now, everyone's stopped talking about this, but if you still have some thoughts, if you're still willing to talk to me about the Shadow and Bone series, do let me know in the comments below. Until then, take care. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and I will hopefully see you in another video soon. Bye!